And those things are going to change. The things like maybe police brutality or things that actually affect us on a day-to-day thing, not just on the political realm. Talk about it a little bit and some of the things that he's gotten away with. It's maybe some of the criticisms that need to be had for Barack Obama.
Well, first of all, he promised change, and that's exactly what you got. You done lost all your rights. You done been dehumanized. You done seen black people get murdered by police at a rate we ain't seen since the 60s. Oh, you got your change. It just ain't the type that you was looking for. Listen, I was the only scholar in America who opposed Obama's presidency. Not because I thought a Republican would be better. I didn't vote for either one. But I knew that by the time he left office, we would be in trouble. How did I know that? Because when you study any black politician, 90% of the time, when a black person is in office, black people do worse. Very few exceptions. Maynard Jackson, a couple exceptions. Most of the time, if there's a black candidate, black people are going to suffer. Why? Because most black politicians are financed by white money. Obama was financed by white money. So whose tune is he going to dance to? Black people's tune because they voted? Nobody care about votes. People care about campaign financing. Because in democracy, whoever spends the most money on a campaign wins the election 87% of the time. That's why the white man loves democracy. He wants Africa to be democratic. He wants the Caribbean to be democratic because he knows that if I control the media, then I control the election. You see? So the reason they put Obama in office was to brainwash black people long enough to take every right that you fought for to Latinos, gays, and white women. By the time Obama get out of office, it will look like you back in slavery. That's why he was in office. He did his job. And I blame black folks, not really Obama, because we the ones who projected onto him this hopeless romantic theory that he's some type of shining knight in black armor that's going to come save black folks. Don't get me wrong. He can't be president of just black folks. We understand that. But if black people are American as they claim, then why hasn't he done anything for our agenda? He gave gay people 3 laws. Gay folks got 3 federal laws under one president. The last time black people got 3 laws was the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and the 15th Amendment. Those are Reconstruction era laws. Gay people got 3 under Obama. They got over 250 federal appointed jobs. They got a Supreme Court justice. Latinos got a Supreme Court justice. What did black people get? Not a damn thing. And we deserve it. Because you had no business falling in love with politicians. We got to stop falling in love with politicians. When capitalism is controlled by politicians, the first thing to be bought and sold is the politician.
Excellent.
And we're about to fall for it again. Hillary Clinton. Black folks still ain't wake up. Look at we right back up. And what's killing me about this whole Clinton thing, see, here's the thing. The black agenda is going to be the same no matter who wins. This is what we don't get. It doesn't matter if it's Hillary, Billary, or Trump. Whoever wins, the black agenda is going to stay the same. Extermination. Extermination. Now, how you going crazy over Hillary Clinton? Last time I checked, her husband, Bill, is the one who gave us mass incarceration law. Right. This man single-handedly filled up the prisons. He's the one who gave us 3 strikes. He's the one who gave us mandatory minimum sentences. He's the one who kicked millions of single black mothers off of welfare and make them work minimum wage jobs just to keep that little petty check. Right. And you're going to vote for his wife, who's a population control junkie, by the way. So guess what? Under Hillary, you're going to get more abortion. Under Hillary, you're going to get more extermination. And to be honest, I think Hillary might be more effective against black folks than Obama, especially in Africa. I don't know if the African heads of state are prepared to deal with this white woman, who's not a bad old white woman, coming over there, flirting her way for the diamonds and the oil and the coltan and the cobalt. I don't know if African leadership can deal with her effectively because she's a woman. They might get more with candy than they could with the lemon. So we better get ready to boogie. It's going to be 8 more years of nonsense. And I'm getting sick and tired of black celebrities endorsing politicians before you get any concessions from them. Spike Lee, I'm for Bernie Sanders. What the hell did Bernie Sanders say he gonna do for black folk? You got all these celebrities running around, I'm for Hillary. But you're for Hillary, but it's Hillary for you. What did Hillary say she gonna do for black folks? We're the only people who will commit our vote without any type of pledge of a promise. All right. Even the mothers of all these slain black children been murdered by the police, Trayvon and Michael Brown, and I love the sisters, and I know many of them not politically inclined, but it hurts my heart that they running around champion Hillary Clinton when she hasn't even promised a single law against police genocide. Stop pledging your loyalty to people who haven't pledged their loyalty to you.
Let's talk about Africa for a second. As a Pan-Africanist, you're concerned about the continent of Africa, and it just seems like there's a neo-colonization going on in Africa right now.
Sure.
Spearheaded by Barack Obama. I want you to talk about that a little bit, because some people think some of the reasons why he got elected is actually to infiltrate Africa.
Oh, without question. Every president is given a domestic and an international mandate. President Obama's domestic mandate was to brainwash black folk long enough to get all their rights snatched away and given to gays and Latinos. His international mandate was to recolonize and re-exploit the resources of Africa. He's done that through Africa. Right now on the continent, you have major American military presence in every area that is minerally rich. That whole Boko Haram nonsense in Nigeria, that was just as a pretext to go in and take over the oil. Okay, if you notice, every time there's a terrorist, they always somewhere near resources that America needs.
Right.
I don't care if it's Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, who else they got out there? ISIS. All of these are CIA fronts. These are all CIA fronts. They go into countries where the government wants to go in and exploit. They create terrorists. They pay them to do these things undercover so America can do what? Come in and make the world safe for democracy. In other words, the new way to colonize a country is to make it look like you're going in there to save the citizens. White supremacy is more technologically sophisticated than ever before. They're looking like Superman when they're really the Joker.
You're listening to WMNF 88.5 FM. This is the Sunday Forum and special guest Dr. Umar Johnson. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to call 813-239-9663 or send us a text 813-433-0885. We'll go to the phone lines right now and take some phone calls. And I believe we have is that Antoine?
From West Palm Beach.
Good morning, Antoine. Good morning. Anthony. Good morning.
Or where it be musicians, they can play a big role into what's going on with the black community. Now, as far as the musicians on the come up, there is a lack of legitimacy with organizations going on, so it's hard to trust. What is your advice to hip-hop musicians on the come up that want to make a bigger impact on the black community?
I think the next great innovation in black music will not be a musical style per se or genre, but it will be for economic independence. The black recording artist is a slave to the majors. I don't care if he's making $50 million or $5. One of the biggest reasons why we have so much negative commentary coming from black musicians today is because they don't control the direction of their music. They are dictated to, and until something changes about that, black music will never celebrate black people or be a benefit to us. In terms of them being able to help out the power struggle, most of them are not going to do that for the very same reason, that these white corporate conglomerates that control the music industry also control the political activity. And every CEO of every major music house sits at the round table of the Bilderbergs, the committee of 300 white supremacist forces that control political direction in this world. So that is to say that the black musician has to become independent. See, when you get into any type of art, you got to make a decision. Do you want to have control over your product, or do you want to have access to the public? Control over your product or access to the public. If you want to have control over your product like Prince had, which is one of the reasons why he's dead, that you might not sell as many records, but you keep more of the money from the records that you do sell. But most artists, because of the ego, are always enticed into covering more market, selling more records, going multi-platinum, and then you only get, 10 points on the albums that you sell. That's why we saw the TLC situation, we saw the Tony Braxton situation, and we saw the Prince situation when he tattooed Slave on his cheek. We got to recognize the value of ownership. Black people want to be famous, black people want to be seen, black people want to get paid, but black people are seldom interested in power.
Right. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the phone lines.
All right, we got Frank in Largo.
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, gentlemen. Dr. Johnson, I like the extent of your chip. You are spot on with all your information from Zbigniew Brzezinski, the New World Order, Planned Parenthood, the vaccines, which if you go to wearechangetampa.org and look at the vaccines section, everything on there will back up Dr. Johnson, what he said about the vaccines. And you've already touched upon this, but what I wanted to bring everyone's attention is that bombing has started again in Libya. And, you know, this is a big problem because AFRICOM is expressing power into the continent of Africa for the minerals, for the resources. And you're right about these terrorist groups in the CIA front. You know, we got to get this information out. And I don't know, I haven't heard from Beasley past half hour because I know that he was from Dr. Johnson. Is he still around there?
Yeah, so he just stepped out. He's actually just got in right now, so he's coming in right now. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Let's get back to the phone lines real quick. I just think we'll take some more phone calls.
And just as a quick news flash, the son of Marion Barry, the former mayor of D.C., was found dead allegedly from a drug overdose, which I do not buy. He's a friend of mine. We've been conversating for the past couple months about him running for mayor of D.C. to follow in his father's footsteps. We had some plans in place, and then I get this nonsense today that he died of a drug overdose. Then we had Dr. Sabi, who was murdered in Mexico last week. So they're taking people out left and right. So we gotta be careful.
Real quick, actually, I want you to expand on Dr. Sabi a little bit more.
I think Dr. Sabi was murdered because when you look at the circumstances of his death, it mirrors the circumstances of young Malcolm Shabazz's death, the grandson of Malcolm X. Both of them was transporting a large sum of money through Mexico, okay, cash. All right, both of them ended up in some very strange circumstances in terms of being held or searched or investigated by the police, and the next thing you know, he's dead. I was told that Dr. Sabi was in custody for about 3 weeks before he died. I don't know if that's true or not, but if he was in custody for 3 weeks, why in the hell didn't somebody sound the alarm to the international community so we would know that, so we could go down there and protest? How do you let somebody of his stature, his age, be in custody? Right. Mexico police for 3 weeks and nobody tells the world anything? I believe there's some complicity in all of this, and I don't know who that would be, but it doesn't sound right to me. So either he was murdered for the $30,000 in cash he had on him by the Mexico police, because as you know, with the conversion rate, $30,000 is a whole lot of Mexico money, or the Food and Drug Administration set it up for him to be assassinated.
Let's get back to the phone lines, take some more phone calls.
Yes, Jonathan, go ahead.
Good morning, Jonathan.
Definitely. Dealing with the Middle East issue, one thing that people need to understand about the Middle East is that the United States government wants to build a pipeline that connects African oil to Middle Eastern oil and then ultimately connects it up to Europe. The problem is that Arabian states are not playing ball with America and Europe, or should I say America and the UK. Neither is Russia. And the reason they need to really get in and infiltrate the Middle East is not just for the resources, but geopolitically it helps them get closer to China. America's big issue is China. China is blocking the one world order. They are the only nation on the planet that white supremacy probably will not beat in a war. They have more money, more technology, and way more soldiers. China is the big issue for white supremacy. Okay, now on the other end of things, as it relates to Gaddafi, Gaddafi was assassinated because he was working along with many of the leaders of the sub-Saharan states to do a couple of things. Number one, they wanted to build a Central African bank, and they were going to tie the resources of Africa to that new African dollar, that currency, whatever it would be called. And as a result of that, if you tie the resources of the most minerally rich continent on earth to its currency, what do you do to everyone else's currency in the world? You drop it, because Africa's richer than every other continent. That would have been an economic revolution. That's the first thing. They had to kill that. The second thing was the cell phone industry in Africa. The cell phone industry is $1 trillion industry in Africa because most of our brothers and sisters can't afford to get a regular monthly plan like we do. They have to buy prepaid minutes. It's $1 trillion industry. So what they were going to do was float an African satellite and allow every nation to operate its own cell phone program. If they would have done that, that would have brought untold millions into the economies of African nations, and that would have cut the white man out the middle, so they had to kill him. And the sad thing about killing Gaddafi was that it has re-terrorized all the other African heads of state that nobody wants to say or speak out against racism except Robert Mugabe.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's take a quick call.
Yes, let's see what Paul from Tampa has to say.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I'll give.
Well, number one, I think that we're going to have to hold the black church very, very accountable for this whole economic situation, because the black church is robbing the black community more than any business you can name. People give to the black church every Sunday, and today is Sunday, no less than about $10 billion every week. $10 billion every week is what is collected by the black church. With that type of money, why we don't have supermarkets, why we don't have hospitals, why we don't have gas stations, why we don't have independent schools for our children, and a good bulk of that money that's deposited into the white bank Monday morning is coming from black churches. So that means that black people's Jesus money is actually being used to push them out of their own neighborhoods in Tampa, Orlando, and in St. Petersburg. The black church is a problem, and it is not a benefit. It collects too much money and does too little for the people that they take it from. How can you collect that type of money weekly and put nobody to work? Why doesn't the black church have employees? If you're taking that type of money away from us, then some of us should be able to benefit from it. So you mean to tell me that you got a $5 million a year operation and you employ absolutely no one? You should be brought up for charges of treason for betraying the black community like that. It's not the religion that we got a problem with. Right. It's the economic operation of the church. It is the colorblind dollar policy of the black church that's killing black folk. If you notice, everybody's dollar is stingy to touch any other hand. The Chinese dollar is a racist dollar. It don't want to see nothing but another Chinese hand. The European Jew dollar is a racist dollar. And the African dollar got to be a racist dollar. We should hate putting our money in the hands of any other people. That's the only way we're going to be able to build up the assets that we need. But you also got to deal with the fact that black people's low psychological self-esteem often leads us to spend more money than other people because we buy expensive things because we believe it vicariously adds value to a life that we think has none. So you got to look at the psychological reasons that black people overshot. But I think we need to boycott the black church until the black church starts doing the job it needs to do. Every church with more than 2,000 members has to be operating a bank, and every church with at least 100 members must have a credit union. If you don't have that, then you are not working for black folks. You're working for white supremacy.
Let's take one more phone call real quick. Let's take AK
Yeah.
from St. Petersburg.
Go ahead, AK. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Bless, bless, bless. Yes. Yes, I have. I love Nigeria.
All right. All right. Thank you, Act from St. Pete. Thank you very much for saying that. Actually, I want to thank everybody that actually called in today. I know we had a lot of phone calls and we couldn't get to everybody. I want to apologize for that.